My fiancé's mother demanded I sign a prenup that gave her control over my finances, saying, "It's just a formality." When I refused, she smirked. "If you really loved my son, you'd prove it." At the wedding, the minister asked if anyone objected, and that's when I stood up and said, "Actually, I have something to say." I met Michael in the fall of 2018 at a tech conference in Austin, Texas. He was a software engineer, and I was a project manager. We connected over shared interests and quickly became inseparable. Within a year, we were engaged. Michael's family was from Dallas. His mother, Margaret, was a prominent figure in the community, known for her philanthropic work and her family's wealth. From our first meeting, Margaret was cordial but distant. She often emphasized the importance of family legacy and protecting assets. 6 months before our wedding, Margaret invited me to lunch at her country club. Over salads and iced tea, she presented me with a prenuptial agreement. "It's just a formality," she said, sliding the document across the table. "If you truly love Michael, you'll sign it." I took the document home and read it thoroughly. The prenup stipulated that in the event of a divorce, I would receive no financial support, regardless of the circumstances. Additionally, any assets acquired during the marriage would remain solely in Michael's name. I was taken aback. While I understood the desire to protect family wealth, the terms were excessively one-sided. I approached Michael with my concerns. He seemed surprised and admitted that he hadn't read the document in detail. "I trust my mother," he said. "She just wants what's best for us." I insisted that we consult a lawyer together. Our attorney confirmed that the prenup was heavily skewed in Michael's favor and advised against signing it without significant revisions. When I relayed this to Margaret, she was livid. "If you won't sign it, maybe you're not the right person for my son," she snapped. Despite the tension, the wedding day arrived. We stood at the altar in a beautiful Dallas chapel, surrounded by friends and family. As the minister asked, "If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace," I felt a surge of clarity. I stepped forward. "Actually, I have something to say." Gasps echoed through the chapel. "I cannot marry into a family that values wealth over love and trust. This prenup is not a formality, it's a symbol of mistrust. I deserve a partnership built on mutual respect and equality." I turned and walked down the aisle, leaving behind a stunned congregation. In the weeks that followed, I received messages of support from friends and even some of Michael's relatives. Michael reached out, expressing regret and a desire to reconcile. But I knew that trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. I chose to move forward, focusing on my career and personal growth. Years later, I look back on that day not with sadness, but with pride. Standing up for myself was the hardest, yet most empowering decision I've ever made. It taught me the importance of self-respect and the courage to walk away from situations that don't honor my worth. A week after the wedding I moved back to my apartment in Austin. I blocked Margaret's number, but not Michael's. I didn't want to be petty, just clear. I needed time. My phone stayed quiet for 2 days. Then on the 3rd, Michael called. I didn't answer. He left a message. He said he was sorry, that he didn't realize how deep his mom's control ran, that he should have stood up to her, that he missed me. I listened. Then I deleted the message. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Not a card. A letter. On thick, cream-colored paper with the family's crest at the top. From Margaret. It read like a legal document, and a threat rolled into one. "I understand you're upset. You embarrassed our family. You humiliated my son. He still cares for you, but you must understand actions have consequences. If you ever publicly speak about this, or make our family look bad, we will take legal action." I stared at the paper. Then I laughed. Out loud. Alone. It was so ridiculous it almost didn't seem real. But it was. I had proof. And now I had a decision to make. I wasn't going to roll over. But I wasn't going to do anything rash either. Instead, I waited. And I started to document everything. Every message, every call, every letter. I kept it all. I even started writing down conversations I remembered from the engagement, things Margaret had said, her exact wording, the times she hinted that girls like me only marry men like Michael for the money. That one stuck with me. A month passed. Michael emailed me again. This time, it wasn't just him apologizing. He told me he had moved out of his parents' house. He said what Margaret did wasn't illegal, but it could be part of a pattern. People like her played dirty, he said. She didn't want a daughter-in-law. She wanted a business transaction. Things went quiet for a while. Then I got a call from an unknown number. It was Margaret. "Let's talk," she said. Woman to woman. I almost said no, but I said yes. I wanted to look her in the eye. We met at a cafe in Dallas. She was already seated, wearing pearls, a crisp blouse, like she always did. I sat across from her. "I never hated you," she said first. "But you don't understand how these things work." "You mean marriage?" I asked. "I mean power," she said flatly. Then she smiled. "You really think love is enough?" "No," I said. "But respect is. And you never gave me any." She leaned back and sighed. "You were never supposed to get this far." That hit me like a slap. She kept talking. "You were a project. I wanted to see how far you'd go. I underestimated you. But now, you've made it personal." "You made it personal the day you sent me that prenup," I said. She stared at me. "You could have had everything." "I still can," I said. "Just not through your son." I got up and walked out. A week later, Michael showed up at my door. He looked tired. Like someone who finally saw the world without the filters. "I'm cutting her off," he said. "For good." I didn't say anything. "She manipulated everything," he said. "Even my last relationship. She paid my ex to leave." That twisted my stomach. "I need time to fix this," he said. "I just wanted you to know." I nodded. Then he handed me a USB drive. "You'll want to see what's on here." I opened it that night. It was folder after folder of emails, letters, messages, proof that Margaret had been working behind the scenes, not just in my life, but in Michael's life, his finances, even his job. There were even fake social media accounts she ran to monitor and sometimes harass people she didn't like, including me. I sat in silence, watching my laptop screen. I knew this wasn't over. I was just getting started. A few days after going through everything on that USB, I started noticing something strange. My LinkedIn had new connections I hadn't approved. My Facebook, which I barely used anymore, had a sudden spike in friend requests from people with no mutuals. One of them had a profile picture of me, but with a different name. I clicked the account. It had posts, things I never wrote, sharing articles about gold diggers, subtle jabs written like satire, all hinting at someone who looked exactly like me. Then it hit me. She was trying to flip the story. Margaret had created a fake version of me online. I screenshotted everything. I gave it to my lawyer. He looked over the files and said, "This is bordering on defamation. She's not just messing with you now. She's trying to ruin you." I started to feel paranoid. I stopped using social media. I changed all my passwords. I took my car to a mechanic just to check for trackers. It all felt so over the top, and yet not paranoid enough. Then one night, my neighbor knocked on my door. "There was a woman outside yesterday," she said. "Dressed nice. Fancy coat. She asked about you. Said she was your aunt." "I don't have an aunt." I asked what she looked like. My neighbor said older. Blonde. Very sharp eyes. It was her. Margaret had come to my apartment. Not to talk. Not to apologize. To sniff around. To rattle me. I filed a police report for harassment. They took it, but they didn't do much. She hadn't broken any laws yet, but the officer said, "Keep a record." Everything. People like this usually slip up. Meanwhile, Michael kept in touch. Quietly. Carefully. He told me his mom had tried to convince his company to fire him. She sent them anonymous emails claiming he was unstable, that he was stealing company secrets. They didn't buy it, thank God. But HR called him in, and now he was on edge. It wasn't just about me anymore. Margaret was spiraling, losing control. Then came the part one wasn't ready for. I got a call from a blocked number. I answered without thinking. A voice, a raspy, tired, said, "You're not the first. And you won't be the last." "Who is this?" I asked. "She did this to me too," the woman said. "To all of us." She didn't give her name, but she said she had been engaged to Michael years ago. Said Margaret forced her out, paid her to leave, then smeared her name so bad she had to move out of state. "I saw your story online," she said. "You're the first one who fought back." My heart pounded. "How did you find me?" "I've been watching." Not in a creepy way. Just waiting, hoping someone would say something. She hung up. I sat there, stunned. How many others were there? I decided to find out. I made a burner email. I reached out to every woman Michael had dated, at least the ones I could find. I worded it carefully, respectfully. I didn't accuse. I just asked, "Did Margaret ever get involved in your relationship?" 3 women replied. 1 blocked me right away. But the 2 others? They had stories. One said Margaret offered to pay for her college if she let Michael go. Another said Margaret threatened to leak personal photos she somehow got a hold of. It was a pattern. A clear, dangerous pattern. And now that pattern included me. Michael, after seeing all this, went full no contact. He changed his number. He moved apartments. He deleted every trace of himself from social media. He quit his job and took a remote gig out of state. He said, "She's not my mom anymore. She's just a stranger I used to know." Then, in the quietest voice, he said, "I'm sorry I didn't believe you." I told him, "It's not about believing me anymore. It's about what we're going to do next." And we started to plan. Because Margaret wasn't just manipulative. She was dangerous. And I had everything she never expected. Receipts, witnesses, and nothing left to lose. We decided to go quiet. No more back and forth. No more contact. Michael and I stopped responding to anything from her. I changed my number again. I shut down all my social media. I got a P.O. box in another city just for legal documents. And then we waited. In the background, our lawyer helped us build a case. Not criminal yet, but civil. Harassment, defamation, emotional distress. We knew the odds. People like Margaret didn't go down easy. But she wasn't careful anymore. She had gotten sloppy. While all this was happening, I focused on work, tried to live a normal life. But it was like walking around with a weight on my chest. I kept looking over my shoulder. I didn't trust phone calls unless I recognized the voice. And I knew that somewhere, she was still trying to figure out her next move. And then, she made it. I got served. A defamation lawsuit. From her. She was trying to sue me for tarnishing her reputation and causing emotional harm. She claimed I was spreading lies, that I had harassed her family, that I was obsessed with her son. I brought it to our lawyer. He laughed for a full minute before saying, "This is her mistake." We countered. We filed everything. The fake accounts, the stalking, the letter, the background check folder, testimonies from 2 of Michael's exes. And yes, we included the anonymous woman who had called me. She finally gave her name. She agreed to a deposition. It took a year to reach court. Margaret showed up like she was walking onto a red carpet. High heels, designer purse, 2 lawyers, and that same fake smile. She acted like she owned the room. Like this was a minor inconvenience. Until she saw the witness list. Her face dropped when she saw Michael sitting on my side. When she saw the thick folders in our lawyer's arms. When she heard the judge say the words, "Let's begin." The trial wasn't a huge public thing, but it didn't need to be. A few people from her world showed up. A few local reporters sniffed around. We didn't speak to them. We let the court do the talking. Her side claimed we were trying to ruin her out of spite. Ours showed patterns, receipts, screenshots, voicemails, and testimonies that painted a very clear picture. This woman didn't protect her son, she controlled him. She didn't dislike me, she feared losing power. Her mask cracked on day 3. Under cross-examination, when asked why she had a folder on me before we ever met, she said, "It's standard for people like us." When asked if she made the fake account, she said, "I don't remember." When asked about the exes, the threats, the payoffs, she laughed. If they were smart, they would have taken the money. Silence fell in the room. That was the moment everyone saw her for what she was. The judge ruled against her. Said her suit had no basis and was clearly retaliatory. Not only was it thrown out, but she was ordered to pay our legal fees over $90,000. And we were given a restraining order. She couldn't contact either of us for 5 years. Michael told me he felt free for the first time in his life. I wish I could say I felt the same. But something still gnawed at me. I'd lost a year of peace, of sleep, of joy, because I didn't trust my gut at the start, because I ignored the red flags. I saw the signs. I let love blind me. That's on me. So no, I wasn't completely innocent either. I let her get that close. I said yes when I should have said not yet. I tried to please people who didn't even like me. That's a mistake I won't repeat. Margaret's reputation? Destroyed. The whispers in her fancy neighborhood never stopped. Her social events dried up. People started avoiding her. A couple of local organizations quietly removed her from their boards. She called it cancel culture. We called it karma. Michael? He's still healing. He's got a lot of anger toward his past. Toward himself. He's in therapy. He's trying. We still talk, but we're not back together. And maybe we won't be. But I respect him now in a way I didn't before. He finally stood up. Me? I left Austin. Got a new job. New place. Same number, but only the right people have it. I keep to myself more. I trust slower. But I sleep better. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear Margaret's voice in my head. If you really loved my son, you'd prove it. I did prove it. Just not in the way she wanted. I proved it by surviving her. By walking away. By refusing to play the game. And in the end, she lost everything she tried to protect. All because she couldn't control me.